I'm going to go over 5 of the best pre-built gaming PC deals that I found on NEWEGG. These are like kind of early Black Friday type of deals. I'll leave a link to every single one of them in the description. If you do click those links and buy anything, it does help support the channel at no extra cost to you, as they are affiliate links. These PCs are for all budget ranges. I've got one for kind of every budget range, so hopefully you stay around until the end and check all of these out. So the first one here is going to be a very high-end build, really solid build if someone's just looking for like the best parts. We got a Ryzen 9800X3D, literally the best gaming CPU you can have. An RTX 5080 graphics card. I think this is pretty much the best graphics card the average person would even need. I feel like going up to the 5090 is really kind of pointless for most people. I mean, the 5080 is going to give you all the frames and settings you would want. 32 gigs of DDR5, 6400 megahertz memory, 2 terabyte SSD, and it's about $2,500. Sorry, my webcam froze and I realized partially through the next build. So we're on 1080p now. I think 4K is causing it to freeze. But anyways, yeah, this is a really good high-end build. Pretty solid price on it, honestly. I did PC part picker lists for pretty much all these builds, and really they're pretty comparable to if you were to build them yourself for the most part, give or take a couple $100 either way. But this one does come with a 1000-watt 80 plus gold power supply, which is pretty nice. You kind of probably need that with a 5080, which is probably drawing a good bit of power. Moving on to one that's still pretty high end, but a little less than that. Only $1,850 here. You get an i9 14900KF, very powerful processor, 5070 Ti, plenty capable at 1440p, high frame rate, high settings, even capable of some 4K gaming as well, no problem. 32 gigs of DDR5, 6400 megahertz again, 2 terabyte M.2 SSD, so plenty of storage. So $1,800 is a very solid pre-built build right here, very powerful. Moving on to the next one. This one is all the way down to $1,450. This comes with a very good, slightly older 7800 X3D. These X3D processors are very good at gaming with a lot of L3 cache. So this is still a very solid processor. I'd put it just under the 9800 X3D just because it's newer and probably a little better, no doubt. But this one's still very, very good for gaming. It comes with an RTX 5070. This is a 12 gigabytes of VRAM graphics card that's very good for 1080p gaming. It can even handle 1440p gaming pretty well as well. Again, 32 gigs of DDR5, 6400 megahertz, so plenty of RAM here. They're not cheaping you out with only 16, which I always hate to see. So that's solid. Full 1 terabyte SSD, so plenty of storage. I think 1 terabyte's pretty much the minimum I would want and what I would expect in any pre-built I would buy or build. So this is a very solid kind of mid-range gaming PC for $1,450. I really like that it comes with that X3D processor. Moving on to one that's even a little bit cheaper at only $1,200. Again, this is another nice kind of mid-range gaming PC. This one has a 9700X processor. It's really solid. I think that's 8 cores, 16 threads, I believe. So pretty good for multitasking and productivity stuff, as well as gaming with those extra cores. RX 9060 XT. Now this is the 16 gigabyte version, as you can tell right here, which is incredible. Definitely a lot better than the 8 gig version. So this means this PC for $1,200 is going to be 1440p capable for sure with that 16 gigs of VRAM and that 9060 XT. Especially if you're willing to play on a little bit lower to medium settings on 1440p, you can get some pretty solid 1440p performance even out of this build. And again, it comes with 32 gigs of DDR5, 6400 megahertz memory, so they're not skimping you out on memory with only giving you 16, which is awesome. And you still get a full 1 terabyte M.2 SSD. And then finally, a really budget one here. It's hard to find good deals at the like really low budgets of like under $800 right now. But I think this one's worthy of being on the list here. You get a Ryzen 5 5500. So this is an AM4 build. You're going to have pretty limited like upgrade path here overall, especially in terms of the CPU, of course, being on AM4. So you're going to be kind of limited in that regard. But for the price of $670, I think it'd be worth it for someone that's looking at this price range and they just want to play some games with some pretty good price performance for pre-built. This one's pretty good with the Ryzen 5 5500, solid budget CPU. Everyone kind of loves that CPU. Same thing with the graphics card here. It's a little bit older, a generation older, RX 6600, but again, a pretty solid 8 gigabyte VRAM sort of budget graphics card for 1080p gaming. Don't expect to be playing 1440p too much on this build, of course, for $670. But for 1080p, you know, it's still a capable AM4 system, so it does have a 1 terabyte SSD, which is good for storage. 16 gigs of DDR4, 3200 megahertz, which is expected for a build of this price range. I think 16 is still fine for this price range. So yeah, for $670 anymore, you can easily spend that on just a GPU. So I think overall this build is a little bit older AM4 build. Is actually a pretty good budget deal. Leave a link to all these builds down in the description if you do want to check those out. I greatly appreciate it as they are affiliate links. But as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next time.